What is up, everybody? And if you see the channel and you see me in this cozy winter outfit and you think I'm a cool guy, well, of course you don't think I'm a cool guy. I'm on YouTube and I'm dressed like this. But if you want to support, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and let's watch a little groovy boxing commentary. Let me see if I can dig up from the crates back there that intro I used to have this past summer. And let's get into the dialogue. So Naoya Inoue is one of these fighters that's so friggin' good, as I said in the shorts video I did earlier. He's so amazing, we don't even care about the amazing things he does. Well, we do care, but we normalize his greatness. It's kind of like we normalize Crawford's greatness. We normalize Usyk being the best cruiserweight, going up, beating a guy in Anthony Joshua. Really good fighter. We normalize it. Now he's got to beat everybody. We normalize greatness for great fighters. Whereas fighters who aren't as great, if they even win a world title, we go, that's phenomenal. Guy like Inoue, of course he's going to be back-to-back undisputed in 2 consecutive years. Why wouldn't he be? That's crazy. Like, fighters don't do that. And still, what's going to happen is, even though Naoya Inoue arguably is the best fighter in the world, even though he is more than likely going to beat Marlon Tapales in a fight that's going to be much harder than people expect, people... I wouldn't say they don't watch boxing, but they watch the fights that they're more interested in. MJ versus Tapales, I don't think people were as tuned into that, and I think that the splintered and divided nature of boxing as it is right now, with fights being on DAZN being an expensive paywall, people are more a la carting boxing right now. They're picking and choosing what they see. There's too much boxing. There's too much high-level boxing that's accessible. They want a little bit of curation, and because of that, I think that Tapales is getting a little underestimated leading into this fight. Do I think he'll win? No, but would I be shocked if this is one of the harder fights Inoue has had? Not at all. Would I be shocked if this is a 1 or 2 round knockout that Inoue has? No, because when he fought a guy like Jamie McDonald back in the day, I'm like, wow, this is a real test. This is going to be something, and he made him look like a tune-up fight. So Inoue has been so phenomenal in facing world champions that I thought were some of the best of their era, and making them look like nobody's, making them look like tune-up fights. Like Emmanuel Rodriguez, very, very good fighter. Inoue made him look like a nobody. Inoue is already a Hall of Famer in my eyes. I think the people that don't like Inoue are people that just want to kind of start bickering conversations on the internet, or they found out that Inoue's fans are extremely loyal and will tune into the content you create. Kind of like how I've been doing short form videos. I'm going to bring back a long form video, which, by the way, if you like it, leave a comment in the description. I'll bring back more. But people don't typically watch me talk for 5 to 6 minutes unless I have a co-host, because they find this content boring, or they pick and choose the content, kind of like the boxing schedule right now. When it comes to Naoya Inoue, I see more and more people consuming the content. They're excited around Naoya Inoue fights. That being said, it's interesting because this weekend we have 2 of the 3 best fighters in the world fighting. We got Dimitri Bivol, who I think is number 3 on the pound-for-pound list. You could say he's number 4 behind Usyk. And then number 5 is either Canelo or Devin Haney to me, maybe Artur Beterbiev, but now we're getting into deep nerdom. So we got Dimitri Bivol, he's fighting Lyndon Arthur. Arthur, by all accounts, basically, even when you listen to the media interviews this week, which I'm sure nobody does, because unless you're a media outlet or you're someone that has some relevancy or the fight matters somewhat to your bottom line, you're probably not going to be checking a Bivol Lyndon Arthur fight, because according to the odds, it's not that compelling, right? But Lyndon Arthur just kind of seems happy to be in Saudi Arabia. Do I think Bivol will stop him? I'm not quite sure, but I think Bivol's going to win pretty much however he feels he wants to win, and that's going to lead into the interesting fight of the winner of Beterbiev versus Smith will end up fighting Dimitri Bivol. Okay, we've said all that stuff. So, that being said, Inoue is going to fight roughly, 3 days after Bivol fights. So we're going to have a direct contrast, and I know some of my loyal listeners have pointed out, why does Bivol get credit for beating a smaller man? Well, he beat Canelo at the height of his Canelo powers. He beat the biggest name in the sport in a fight where people thought that he would lose, and he's defended his world title for a very long time. I want to say 6 or 7 years, just off the top of my head, the WBA title. I mean, to me, that those two feats are pretty astonishing because guys that are supposedly far greater than Bivol could not achieve that. You know, if you look at Kovalev's history, he was supposed to be a historically more significant fighter than Bivol. At the end of his career, he could not achieve what Bivol was able to achieve with Canelo. I think there's something about being able to win a fight that the world thinks you'll lose that makes you a pound-for-pound fighter to me. That being said, this is going to be a showcase for Inoue to kind of say, where do I stand on the grand scheme of things? There's two fighters in my mind who are the best fighters in the world of boxing right now. There's Terrence Crawford, who's my fighter of the year, and barring something crazy on Tuesday night, barring a masterclass, an excellent performance, Crawford is the number one fighter in the world. Why? Because he went into a 50-50 fight with Errol Spence, knocked the Hall of Fame out of Errol Spence, made fans who didn't really like boxing but just like personalities like Errol Spence, Charlie Brothers, whoever, they're not watching boxing as much anymore after that performance. Why is that? Because I think he deflated some people who were really character-driven, driven by these personalities, these entertainers that they had liked. I think Crawford took a lot of hope out of some fans that their favorite fighters are ever going to come back and be relevant. That, to me, is a big telltale sign of a greatness of a fighter when you actually make fans frustrated, angry, or that passionate by giving a masterclass. Crawford did such a great job fighting against Errol Spence Jr. He turned a seemingly even fight into what people say is a mismatch. They got these reasons. And he did such a good job that now he's more than likely, in my opinion, going to land a Canelo fight in 2024. And that fight makes no sense. He's a welterweight. Canelo's a super middleweight. Like, what? But it's because that performance was so amazing. And people had basically counted out Crawford. It was promoted by PBC, and it was kind of being phrased as a celebration of Errol Spence and kind of these big events. 2024 was the big events. Davis Garcia, and Davis has his crowning moment. He's this big entertainer. He makes big money. Everything had led to this moment. And then it felt like Errol Spence had led to this moment, this big fight. And then it came crashing down. And then, everything else. Who knows if Spence even fights again after that? And because that performance was so magnificent, there's only like a handful of fighters I think people would even feel Crawford could lose to. So, Inoue has to come out of this fight, and I saw things on Twitter, which you should never look at X or Twitter and say, oh yeah, that is factual information. I saw it on X or Twitter. That's the worst thing you can do. But I did see someone say that Inoue is planning on staying at 122 next year, which I don't really see why he would do it. I think that the best option would be to go to 126 and start, doing what he does, winning world titles there. But if he does stay at 122, that would kind of be an interesting conundrum, because I truly believe he's so good that maybe MJ is the only fighter we'd be like, oh, maybe he has a shot. But Inoue is in the Crawford position where I feel like if he's the same size as any fighter, you just can't favor the other fighter. And because of that, that's the sign of greatness. I think that Crawford right now just has him by a little bit, but Inoue is one of these really, really special fighters. He's beating guys, he's stopping guys. Crawford's beating guys and stopping guys. I think right now it comes down to two things. Are you a promoter affiliated with either fighter? That will tell you who you think is better. Or are you going to go with the fighter that fought on a big American pay-per-view, who's a pretty known aspect of pop culture now? He did the Joe Rogan show. That's Crawford. Or do you want the indie rock guy, the underground guy, the hardcore fan guy? Then you're going to go with Inoue, I don't think many people are going to vote for Crawford as Boxer of the Year. I could be wrong. I think it's going to be a lot of Inoue votes. I think that because, the expert opinion is going to be like, Crawford's fight mattered. But you need to know about this Inoue guy. And I get it, because Crawford's getting big money, so he doesn't necessarily need the awards. But there is a level of nerddom to sitting in your mom's basement and talking to a camera and telling people your opinions on boxing. There's a level of nerd to it. And Inoue, like some fighters of the past, Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez, these lower weight fighters have a way of getting a lot of praise from the underground, and then maybe some fight fans get resentful of these fans because they don't actually watch the fights. But what do Americans hate the most? They hate being told stuff. So if you tell people, you got to see Inoue, you got to see Inoue, I think the natural inclination of a lot of fight fans in America is, man, you won't tell me what to watch. I don't like that guy. He gets hit too much. Every boxer at the highest level gets hit too much, basically. These are the two best fighters. Inoue fights this Tuesday. It's going to be like 2 a.m. on the Pacific, the day after Christmas. I am totally not going to watch this. I wish everybody a happy holidays. If you want me to do more videos like this one, leave comments below. Tell me the kind of videos. And stay safe out there for the holidays. I hope you enjoy your holidays. Take care.